This week on Splat Picks.
You can't market your program, period, if you have losses like that. Like, that game is meaningless compared to all their losses.
The weakest bracket is definitely the West, honestly, right? Don't we agree? The West, weakest. North Carolina is the weakest 1 seed. Arizona
That's
is the
fair.
weakest 2 seed. Baylor's the
That's
weakest
fair.
3 seed. Alabama's the weakest 4 seed. Like,
There's usually like one team in the tournament that goes pretty far just because they can shoot threes and get hot.
yo, what's good, Splat Nation? Splat Boys back. It's March. It's episode 9, March Madness time. We're going over the round of 64, some upsets we see. We're not doing straight on picks. Our kind of picks for this episode is just going to be our brackets. You got a little competition going. I think this is what I was thinking. We haven't actually talked about it. 3 points for whichever one of us has the best bracket, and then 1 point for whoever gets second place. We like that?
I
Or
like
should
that.
it
I
be
like that.
worth
I like
more?
that.
Should it be worth more?
No,
It's
that's
kind
good.
of a
That's good.
big
That's
deal.
good.
That's fine.
Okay. And then later on, we're going to pick individual games, keep up the normal episodes. But James, you want to start us off? What's your number one game to look at this week?
You know what? I really like the McNeese Cowboys, the McNeese State Cowboys. They play Gonzaga first round, and I recently wrote an article on our blog, and I'll just kind of look at it real quick, get the highlights of it. And really, what I like about these McNeese Cowboys is how much experience they have coaching wise, because they have LSU's former coach and Will Wade, I believe. I think they used to call him the Godfather back in the day. But they have some notable wins, especially against Michigan in Ann Arbor. That is insane. But Gonzaga's lost to St. Mary's twice, didn't win their conference tournament. They also lost to San Diego State, another tournament team, and UConn, and won to Washington. So they've just kind of struggled. But once Will Wade got back from his suspension, the Cowboys are 23-1, marking a two-loss season. They have the ninth highest three-point percentage and score the 38th most points per game. So I'm really excited to see this team. And they have Shahada Wells. This kid is a star guard, and he's shooting 17.8 points per game this season, and he just had 27 points in the Southland finals and the semifinals. So definitely look out for them. I really think they get an excellent round of 32 game as well, because I'm predicting that the Samford Bulldogs beat Kansas in their first round. So they'll match up against Samford pretty well for the round of 64. Hopefully, I'm sorry, round of 32, hopefully pushing them to the Sweet 16. So look out for the McNeese State Cowboys. They are a fun team to watch.
Wow. Okay. So my problem with them is Michigan is about the only team they've played. VCU mid team, kind of UAB. It's Power Five. Are they? No, they're not Power Five. But
If he's not Power Five, but they're a tournament team.
yeah. But I still just think that those wins, they haven't proven themselves against a Gonzaga team that beat Kentucky. I that one I was up in the air about. I was talking with Dylan Thompson. He was talking about how much he loves those 12 seeds and how he felt like he was picking more of them than he should. But I just feel like that Gonzaga team, they have the better stars. They're better defensively. And my mindset going into this tournament is whichever team can play the best defense. All these teams can score if it comes down to it. So who plays defense? So that's why I got the Gonzaga Dogs.
McNeese State is a Sweet 16 team. I'm sorry, they're a Sweet 16 team.
No,
No,
You are fading the Cowboys, but just that logo alone deserves to be in the Sweet 16. Some people have them going as far as the Elite Eight. I think that's a little
that's
bold.
cap.
It's a little
That's
bold.
cap.
But Sweet 16 is plenty doable. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are not the Bulldogs of the past. They don't have Drew Timmy. They don't have Chet Holmgren. They don't have Jalen Suggs. They're missing all their star players that they've had in the past, and they've struggled this year. UAB is a
They've
tournament
replaced
team.
them.
DCU, they have not replaced him. Name me one player on Gonzaga.
That Ike dude, the Graham Ike, I think his name, dude, he's like over 50. They have two guys averaging like over 15 points a game. That too, and they're getting rebounds. They're big dudes getting rebounds. That's what you got to have. And they play better defense. That's why I got the Bulldogs. It'll be a good game. I think it's one of the better 5 versus 12 games. But I don't see. I see where you're coming from. They're not
Will
going to the Sweet
Wade, Will
16.
Wade is going out with a bang before he goes to Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt's already promised him all this NIL money. He is set up for greatness in Vanderbilt. So look out for Vanderbilt next year. But I'm talking right now. And right now, you need to pick the McNeese State Cowboys.
Okay, well, that's enough with that game. Jack, you got any notable games you like to look at here?
I'm kind of like a New Mexico right here. I have them beating Clemson and then advancing and beating Baylor. James probably agrees with the Baylor pick right there. Stay away from Baylor. So, yeah.
James just whatever he does, Baylor's gonna do the opposite. So like it doesn't really matter. He can go with Baylor or go against. But yeah, I agree with you though. I feel like New Mexico, that's one of my number one upsets is them over Clemson. The Clemson team struggled a little bit down the stretch. They started off hot, and New Mexico, they're a hype team. They run a fast offense. So give me what even are they? The
They're an 11
Um,
seed playing a 10 seed.
I know, but what's their mascot? Like what's their
Oh, the
nickname?
Lobos. They're the Lobos.
Yeah, yeah, that one wasn't coming to me. Yeah, give me the Lobos, James.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all and what you said about Baylor. I have Baylor winning the first round, so I'm completely fine if they lose first round to Colgate because I don't have them making it very far. I only have them making it to the round of 32. So I completely agree with you, Jack. New Mexico
so
is a Sweet 16
I have
team.
Baylor, New Mexico 32, but New Mexico advancing.
I have the same exact thing. This Lobos team is a good team, and this Clemson team just lost by 21 to Boston College,
Yeah,
which is a sucky team. They just lost by 5 to Wake Forest team that did beat Duke. They did beat Duke, but like they're losing to really bad teams. Boston College, Wake Forest, Notre Dame. You can't be dropping ones like that. Eh, They're nothing special. I think that seeding's a little too high. I think a 6 is very generous to the Clemson Tigers. That Lobos team has a high net ranking, and they're really destined for greatness because they're playing a Baylor team that struggled on the road. They're playing a Clemson team that has struggled in general. And so I think this Lobos team has a great team to make a push for the Sweet 16, maybe even the Elite Eight. I do have Arizona beating them, but Arizona showed flaws in the past too. So don't be surprised if the Lobos make it to the Elite Eight.
you mentioned Clemson and how they have bad losses. They also have a couple good wins, which you got to watch out. They beat Alabama early in the year. I get that's different. Those preseason tournaments. That one's not huge on my list, but they did also beat UNC at UNC, which that I mean, if you're going to market your program on one win, like if you're pitching for them, that's the win you got to do. But I still think the Lobos, the Logos, whatever they are, I got them winning. I'm not as high on them beating Baylor as y'all are, but I do like them making it to the round of 32.
Losing by 13 to Miami, losing by 10 to UNC at home, losing by 15 to Virginia Tech, and losing by 3 to Georgia Tech. Sure, they have one good win against UNC and they
I
played
that's I
close
literally
against
said
Duke. But
I
I'm
literally
sorry,
said
the
they have
losses
bad
outweigh the
losses.
wins. Like
I
that
said they
win does
have bad
not.
losses.
Yeah, but that win
James is
does not
forgetting something
you
this
can't
morning.
you can't market your program period if you have losses like that. Like that game is meaningless compared to all their losses. You said that
James,
I
you're
if
said
forgetting
you if
I
you
something.
want
said
to
those exact words. I just said they do have one good win, which makes them like they know they can
that
do
win
it.
is
It's in their
meaningless. That
tank.
win is meaningless. That win is meaningless. The Lobos are a
Okay,
lock. Don't even overthink it. Clemson is a bad team with a bad seed. Take the Lobos. That is the freest upset that's going to be on the show tonight. That is so free.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just said there was a good win. I don't know why you just got pressed, but my game to look at. There's a couple. Texas, if Virginia winds up winning, that Texas, honestly, either way, that Texas game is going to be a good game, and I feel like Texas might get upset. Sorry, Fletcher.
Managed that last little explosion. Nice long one. A beautiful lead pass. It's Scott. I stand corrected. I think that was going to reach the rim. Here's a try for the basket. Nice little flip shot.
Trying to look at my bracket here. Some of the
I have
other
those.
ones.
Timeout.
You do?
Timeout.
Yeah, I have Virginia winning against Texas, but then losing to Tennessee. I mean, hey, Texas is not that
Ah,
good.
Virginia sucks. Virginia doesn't deserve to be in the tournament. Indiana State and the Robbie Albright kid or whatever, they deserve to be in it. Virginia sucks. You want to talk about a bad ACC team? Throw Clemson out the door. talk about Virginia. They suck this year. They're only getting in because of their name brand and their name recognition. Indiana State deserves to be in the tournament. Virginia sucks. Virginia
Okay.
sucks.
Okay. The upset that I am pretty sure about, Oregon over South Carolina.
That one,
The Ducks.
I can get on board.
We
with
all
that
like
one.
that. We all like that. This South Carolina team, they played well. They beat Tennessee at Thompson Bowling, the Food City Center. They've also had some bad. They beat Kentucky at home. They lost to Auburn. They beat a Florida team that looked good, and then they got beat by 30 by Auburn in the SEC tournament. And I think that's the game you got to look at is that 30-point loss. That's what they're coming off of. The Oregon Ducks are energized, and I just think overall they're the better team defensively, which that's my thing here is defense.
I kind of had to spread out my picks a bit. So in my Splat
Yeah.
picks bracket, I do have South Carolina winning. I'm sorry, Oregon Ducks. I had to spread out my picks because I can't put all my eggs in one basket. But in a lot of my brackets, I do have Oregon winning a lot. They're a good team. They made it to the Pac-12 final. They didn't win it. They lost to Colorado, right?
Yes, Colorado did end up winning.
Yeah. So they're obviously a good team. They can play with little rest like they did in that tournament. Uh, I think they have a good shot. I don't know if they're Sweet 16 worthy, but I like that game against South Carolina. It's a good game. I do have the Gamecocks winning. They have kind of proven themselves. That's a pretty nicely rated 6 seed. I would take the
agree.
Gamecocks over Clemson any day of the week.
But I also think Oregon at an 11 seed is that's bad for them. I feel like they at least deserved a 10. I just feel like they had some better games overall. They started off slow, but it's whatever. I'm not the one in charge, so
They were one of those bubble teams that really gained an advantage when it came to those conference tournaments, and they made it to their finals. So that really helped them. But I mean, 11's not bad, especially going up against a beatable team. I mean, it's not as beatable as Clemson, but it's a beatable team. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Oregon Ducks won it, and I wouldn't be mad if they won. It would ruin my perfect Splat picks bracket, but I'm not against the Ducks winning, first round. Good for them if they win. Hard-working team.
They beat an Arizona team in that Pac-12 tournament, and I feel like that Arizona team is a little overhyped. I just think they're inconsistent. It's a tough one. I don't know how far I have them going because I feel like
they were kind of in that. Could we be the last 1 seed? Could we not? Along with Tennessee and Iowa State, they're a good team, but they got to get hot. Caleb Love has to kind of carry that team, and he has in the past with the UNC team. So they have plenty of potential. If they get hot, they can get rolling. They are in my Final Four in the Splat Picks bracket, but I do also have them losing in like the Sweet 16 and other brackets. So
I agree.
I'm not too terribly hot on them. I'm not too terribly cold on them. They're more of those, let's see what happens in March. Anything can happen.
Yeah, they are hit or miss in March, and I feel like that same thing's going to be true here. Okay, mixing it up, not talking about games. Dark horse Final Four candidates. Who y'all got? Like, let's say not 1 or 2 seeds. Not 1 or 2 seeds.
I think Auburn is the number 2 team in KenPom. They are a talented team. We just saw them run through the SEC tournament. They're a 4 seed. They're playing in one of the hardest regions in the East. They would have to play UConn in the Elite Eight, and then either Illinois or Iowa State or even BYU or someone. And they would have to play UConn in the Sweet 16, and then Illinois or Iowa State in the Elite Eight. But I mean, the KenPom kind of speaks for itself. They're that high for a reason. 4 seed was, in my idea, a little disrespectful to the SEC tournament champion.
Agreed.
I would have think they would be a 3 seed maybe. So watch out for them. I have them going all the way to the championship in my Splat Picks bracket. I mean, they are statistically, when you look at all the stats for making brackets, they have a real shot to win it all. I mean,
I agree.
They got a real shot to win it all.
Honestly, UConn Auburn Sweet 16 might be the game of the tournament, dude. Whoever wins that, I feel like ends up winning it all. I just think those 2 teams Auburn's number 4 in Ken Palm. That's what I have them down as. You
Let me
sure?
double check that.
I have it up right now. Houston's 2, Purdue's 3, Auburn's 4. I have it up right now.
Who's 3?
Purdue.
Okay, at one point they
This
were
is
as
just
high as
overall.
2.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I mean, clearly they're up there. This is just like small differences, but I think those two teams. That's Auburn's a dark horse. The one I'm highest on is the Creighton Blue Jays.
That's what I have.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I've Creighton in my Elite 8. Yeah.
Who do you have them losing to? Purdue.
Purdue. I Purdue winning it all. Listen, here's
Don't
the
know with
one
this
stat you
Purdue
need to
team.
know. Here's one stat you need to know. There's Kim Palm, there's net rankings, there's this, that, this, that, this, that. The last time a 1 seed lost to a 16 seed, the next year they came back and won it. It's only happened once. This could happen twice. But this would be the year of multiple Wooded Award winners, excluding Zach Edey. 4 of the 5 have won the national championship. Zach Edey is looking to get his 3rd, especially after Dalton Connect didn't pan out in the SEC tournament. Edey is looking to get his 3rd. I think it's really their year. Their guards have took a big jump, especially getting a few new pieces. They can shoot the 3 well. They can play good defense, and they are elite in the paint. This is Purdue's year. I'm sorry. Thank you, Fletcher Hamilton, for a lot of those facts. I did some of my own research. I've talked to him a little. He's excellent. If you ever want to talk ball, talk to Fletcher Hamilton. It's Purdue's year.
We're talking Purdue today too, and I think you got that pick straight from him. But Jack, what you like in the Creighton Blue Jays, Blue Hawks, whatever they are? They're blue birds.
I just heard Drew Eldridge talking about them, so I kind of have to listen to him. He's 2 for 2 so far. I have them in my Final Four, but losing to Houston. I mean, they can obviously get up to the Final Four. I have them beating Purdue. I just don't think Purdue has what it takes to beat Creighton, according to Drew Eldridge. I mean, if they're that good.
Yeah, that's honestly the top left and the bottom right brackets. I think those are the 2 most stacked. When you have Iowa State, Illinois, UConn, and Auburn in the top left, and then bottom right, the Tennessee, Purdue, Creighton. I'm not as high. What's that 4 seed? Not as high on Kansas, but those 7 teams, one of those
Kansas,
7,
you shouldn't be high on at all.
I'm not. Kansas. No,
you should not be high on Kansas at all.
I have them losing in the round of 32. I have them losing to Gonzaga. I don't like that. I feel like they're the better team than Gonzaga. I just don't feel like they're good enough to make this.
Their star point guard just got told he was out the rest of the tournament.
Exactly.
And we know, I mean, let's look at the stats real quick. Let me pull that up because that was actually what my next article was going to be on.
Kevin McCullough?
Kevin McCullough Jr.
Yeah.
They're 3-7. They have a 3-7 away record. That doesn't include neutral site games. So they have a 3-7 away record in total, and they have a 1-3 away record against ranked opponents. And in their last 10 games this season, they were 4-6. This Kansas team is abysmal right now. It's terrible. It doesn't even deserve the 4 seed. Give the 4 seed to South Carolina for all I care. Give it to the Lobos. I'm higher on the Lobos than I am on this team. I do have them winning first round, but I have Samford winning in a lot of other brackets too, and I have them losing to McNeese State at round of 32. Whoever wins against in the Gonzaga McNeese State game is going to the Elite 8 or is going to the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
Yeah, that Kansas team sucks. It sucks.
I feel you there. You're losing 18.3 points per game. The leading scorer, the runner of your offense, not your best player in Hunter Dickinson, because overall he's the better player, rebounds, defense-wise. But losing the guy, it's like taking Edey. Edey's not the point guard, but you take Edey out of Purdue, Purdue is not, honestly. They're still a good team. There's just 5 or 6 seed. It just kind of everything runs through those guys, and it's rough.
I think that's a bit of a stretch because you take Edey out of Purdue, they're pushing a 10, 11 seed. I mean, they're in Oregon's place because Edey, they don't have a team without Edey. This team at least still has Hunter Dickinson, and obviously they recruit phenomenal every year. They're at blue blood. They live and die as a blue blood. But they're kind of screwed without McCullough Jr. They still have Hunter Dickinson, but don't expect this Purdue or this Kansas team to be special. Honestly, I'm taking that top left. I'm taking the East over the Midwest every day of the week. I mean, from the bottom to the top, or really just
Oh,
top
I agree.
four, I'm taking probably Purdue over UConn, but I'm taking Iowa State over Tennessee. I'm taking Illinois over Creighton, and then I'm taking Auburn clearly over Kansas. Tennessee is, let's remember who their coach is. Let's remember who their coach is. I have
Oh no,
Tennessee
I'm
exiting
not
out of the round
arguing
of
on that
32.
one. I'm not arguing they're making it to the Sweet 16, but I'm arguing I don't think what was it, the 3 seed Illinois not better than Creighton.
Illinois is a
Creighton is
tough
a
team.
slept on team.
Illinois
Creighton
is a
is
tough
slept on.
team. I
They're in the
would.
Big Ten. They're in the Big Ten.
The Big
They have
Ten's are
Purdue.
normally. I mean, let's look at all the Big Ten teams. You have Illinois,
Purdue.
Purdue, Michigan State. Who
Yeah.
else?
Mm-hmm.
Hold up. I'm looking through.
Nebraska.
Nebraska's got that Asian kid that's insanely good. And that's four decent teams. And Creighton just has UConn and one other school in there.
Marquette.
Yeah. I mean,
But those
granted, the
three.
Big East did have a lot of robberies, but I mean, the Big Ten has just as many. I mean, the Big Ten is better bottom to top than the Big East is bottom to top. Remember, the Big East also has DePaul. DePaul sucks. DePaul
Okay,
sucks.
I just think Creighton, because they're in the Big East, is getting slept on, and that's why they fell to a 3 seed. They're a good
No.
team. They have some good wins.
Creighton shouldn't be slept on. The Big East is a known basketball conference. That's why it's called the Power Six during basketball season instead of the Power Five. Big East is, I think that's a plenty fine rating with Creighton. I mean, obviously the big two for that conference all season was Marquette and UConn. I don't think Marquette's going to pan out very well. They have
I
Shaka
don't either.
as their coach, and he's just like the Tennessee coach. He's not very good at March. But I mean, Creighton, that's a good seed. They'll make it to the Elite Eight because they'll either play South Carolina or Oregon, and they should beat them. And then they'll play the winner of what I have, Texas and Tennessee, and I have Texas winning that one. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, that's besides the point. The weakest bracket is definitely the West, honestly, right? Don't we agree? The West, weakest. North Carolina is the weakest 1 seed. Arizona
That's
is the
fair.
weakest 2 seed. Baylor's the
That's
weakest
fair.
3 seed. Alabama's the weakest 4 seed. Like literally,
Yeah,
that's what
I
you.
can't disagree with you.
Alabama,
I can't disagree on
Kansas.
you.
I don't know. That I feel
Can't
like
disagree
that.
with you on that. Cannot
I
disagree
don't
with you
see
on
a
that.
champion coming out of the West.
I have
That's
Alabama getting bounced out first round.
that's Charleston team. That's one I've been looking at. I'm back and
Charleston's
forth
high
with my
scoring.
brackets.
There.
Yeah, I know that's.
And Bama's kind of like Tennessee. I mean, they peaked at number 13 in the AP and a possible 3 seed. They kind of flamed out at the end of the season. They were 3 seed in the SEC, got knocked out immediately. I mean, terribly. I mean, they lost 102. They let up 102 to Florida. And then earlier,
That's
like
a
2
good
games,
Florida team. Florida is slept on.
you don't let up 102 in a college basketball game, though. Like, you don't just casually do that in college basketball. NBA, you let up 102, you got really good defense. College basketball, you let up 102. What happened? And they also let up 105 to the same Florida team. And in 8 of their last 10 games, they were 5-5 in their last 10 games. But in 8 of those games, they let up 85 plus points. That is stupid high. You should not be letting up
I agree.
85 plus points. I mean, we
I
have a
agree.
team
They
like
can't play
Virginia.
defense.
We have a team like Virginia that is scoring in the 40s some games, like a lot of games actually, which is also why I don't have them winning. I mean, they're scoring 44 in some games. They won a game by only scoring 49. And this Bama team is allowing 85 plus to, I mean, teams like LSU, Ole Miss, Florida. I mean, some
agree.
good quality teams, but I mean, you don't see LSU and Ole Miss in the tournament.
Nope. I do think Florida. What's his name? Shoot. I had the name. They're the guy who got injured in the SEC championship game. They
I
are
just know it's the
making
big
a
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the big man. They were making a strong run in March. I had them going Sweet 16 at least, maybe even Elite Eight. But that injury, they were a good team, and I just think that kind of ruined their whole tournament. And you hate that in a game that kind of mattered, kind of didn't, that they got injured like that.
Let me first start out with Body Armor. Once again, love ya. I drink ya. Please sponsors. And raise your hand if you don't have Florida even making it to the round of 32.
Sadly, yeah. I do have them
Yeah.
losing now.
Yeah.
I was so
Losing
high
first
on
round.
them.
I'm glad we all
Ah.
three agree on that.
I think it's going to be Colorado. They're going to lose to Colorado, but Boise, that's not a good team. If honestly, I'm changing it. If Boise beats Colorado tomorrow,
That game's
it's
already over, I
Florida.
think. Is it not? Oh no,
No,
I'm sorry, that game's tomorrow. Sorry, that game's tomorrow.
that's the tomorrow game. So if Boise wins, I'm flipping to Florida. But honestly, if it's Colorado, I just think they have big men. They played without. He only plays like 19 minutes a game, but still, he was a difference maker. So that's why you hate that for them because they were one of my dark horses who could make a run, if the cards fall the right
I'm
way.
looking at Boise's the last 8 games Boise's played before this Colorado game. All those teams are tournament teams. And they got wins
Really?
against San Diego State, Colorado State. I mean, I guess
Mm,
Colorado State round of the extra round, the first round or whatever.
yeah.
And so San Diego State, Colorado State, Utah State, New Mexico, who were all high on, they played, and Washington State. They all played those teams. And sure, the record's not great for those 8, but I mean, they did pick up. Oh no, they were 4-4 in those games. 4-4 against 8 against tournament teams. So they have what it takes. So I'm just going with my gut, no matter who wins that, because Colorado did win the Pac-12, which has some good teams like Arizona. So
I agree.
give me the winner. I don't care who it is that wins that. Florida's not
I
making it out of the
honestly,
round of 64. Zach Galanis, if you're out there, sorry to you, but Florida Gators
sorry,
gonna go
Zach.
chomp, chomp, chomp out the door.
Yeah, is it the Boise State Broncos? What are they? It's something like
The
that, right?
Broncos, because they have that ugly blue field for football.
Yeah. They're top 30 in Ken Palm on defense, and I think
Yeah.
I'm high on that defensive efficiency. I just think Florida without their starting big man, I just don't think that'll happen. Now that I'm looking at this again, I like Colorado better than Boise, but I still think I'll stick with the Boise State Broncos even if they win. Now after a little bit of further research,
I
Jack, you
mean,
got any other?
is it bad to have Boise State, Colorado winner go to the Sweet 16 and quite possibly the Elite Eight?
Yes, very bad. I like Marquette. I don't like Marquette enough. Uh, Kentucky's not a good team in March. I mean, not recently. I feel like, but if Kentucky makes it there, they're the better team than Marquette. I don't know how that's going to end up, but yeah, I don't. I don't like either of those two teams beating Marquette.
Let's just say my Elite Eight for the South region is Houston versus the winner of Boise State, Colorado.
Good for you, man. I hope you're wrong.
Uh,
Not gonna lie.
I mean,
Houston's an odd team to me. I don't know. What do y'all think about Houston?
have you watched any of their games?
Yeah, I don't.
I
Okay,
mentioned
I have
odd
them in the
meaning
final.
odd meaning I don't know if they can win it all.
I'm fine with that. That is a good take. I'm not mad at that take. That is a fine take. You don't think they can win it all. But I mean that defense. Oh my goodness. I
It's
told
so
you
good.
about that YouTube video and one of our past episodes that I watched about how this dude pretty much broke down their defense completely. And I mean, really, that Houston defense is special. It is so daggum good. And I'm looking at some of the advanced stats. I know on Instagram right now they have all sorts of guys breaking down all sorts of special stats. And y'all should really check out. There's this one dude, let me find him for y'all.
Is that the Ryan guy?
Ryan Hammer,
Ryan.
9. This
Yeah.
dude has all sorts of graphs and stuff. And I constantly am seeing
Trapezoid.
Houston on the right side of those graphs. And so he has the trapezoid of excellence and many other things. But this Houston team is good. They're good. They are very good.
I agree. I just think down the stretch, you see, like they lost at Kansas. I just think there's just a couple of those times you've just questioned their ability. They're a good team, hands down, great team, deserve the 1 seed, deserve number 2 overall. I just don't know if they can make it all the way through March and win it all. But who knows? Prove me wrong, Cougars.
I have them Final
wouldn't
Four,
complain.
but that Kansas game is I'm putting an asterisk by that one because it's in Kansas against a fully healthy Kansas team. Obviously, they play their hearts out at home,
I agree.
but this
And they
is
win by 30.
Yeah, but I mean, this Houston team is playing in the South region, which is in Memphis. And I'll tell you what, they play Longwood, 16 seed, don't have to worry about that. Then the winner of Nebraska, Texas A&M. So Texas A&M will probably have the same amount of people as Houston there. Nebraska won't have anyone. Then they'll play the winners of the Duke, Vermont, Wisconsin, James Madison game, which they'll have more fans there. It's almost like a home environment. Plus, I'm sure you have
I
plenty of
agree.
Houston grads up in the Memphis area. So it's almost like home field advantage for them. I mean, I'm not really seeing any other teams down here that will have more fans than Houston, except for maybe A&M. So as long as Nebraska wins that first round, Houston should pretty much have home court advantage.
Yeah, I feel you there. Is there anything else this episode? It's been a good one. Great conversation. Jack, you got anything
I like
last
BYU.
remarks?
You like
Good
BYU?
3-point team. I had to
I
pick one
forgot
for
you said that.
I
I
was
for,
like Alabama or BYU. Alabama, I just don't see them going that far. And then I just was looking through and I saw BYU is also pretty good at shooting threes. There's usually like one team in the tournament that goes pretty far just because they can shoot threes and get hot. So I was like, why not? I have them
I
losing.
got B.
I have them losing to
Go.
UConn though. I don't see that happening, getting past UConn,
Ooh,
but I have them
I don't
going.
have them.
You go.
I have them Sweet 16. I don't have it. I have them upsetting Illinois in one of my brackets, but not Iowa State.
I think I might have them as far as Elite Eight in one of my brackets, but for the Splat one, I
Same.
have them round of 32, losing to Illinois. They're a good team. They're a fun team to watch. They've beaten some good teams this year, but I mean, I gotta draw the line somewhere, and I'm picking Illinois on this one. They're fun to watch.
And you
If
mentioned
you want to watch some BYU greatness, Jimmer Fredette from like 10 or so years ago, dude was a legend there. Look him up.
okay,
Insane in March.
whatever. You mentioned shooting threes. A team I like that shoots threes, not making as big of a run as BYU, Samford. I think they shoot better than Kansas. I think their 3-pointers they can knock off the Jayhawks. But that's my last mark. I'm not trying to give away my whole bracket. Kind of did. There's a couple games we didn't cover, but
Oh yeah.
there's a lot.
Also be on the lookout. My spot bracket doesn't have them, but don't don't be scared when the Bulldogs make a push for a Sweet 16 and get past UNC. They match up really well against UNC. Don't don't be surprised you see the Mississippi State Bulldogs make it
No,
far. Don't be
no.
surprised.
You're joking, right? Oh
My
gosh.
boy Josh
Oh
Hubbard, put the
gosh.
picture of me and him up there right here. Don't be surprised. They match up really well against UNC. They get past Tom Izzo in the first round. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when them Bulldogs make it kind of far.
UNC's the worst 1 seed, but nope. I'm sorry. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Fine. That's
Okay.
fine. Winner of Mississippi State, Michigan State. Whichever MSU wins is beating UNC.
Hey, that's a good game. Thursday. That's what we're starting off with. Mississippi State, Michigan State. Sorry, Miss Wisher. Sorry, Miss Jansen. I'm watching that in class.
He's watching
That's
it in
gonna be
class.
a
Teachers
thriller.
stop him. Stop him. Teachers writing him up. Give him a detention. Write him up.
They
I'm
don't
seeing
care.
it right here.
Hey, I've been told Miss Jansen will put it on in class for us, so I don't gotta worry about it. And Miss Wisher to go. Shout out Miss Wisher. Love you, Miss Wisher. I've had 2 straight years with her. Great teacher. On that note, anything else? Any other absurd remarks like Mississippi State beating UNC?
Just don't be surprised. I just want to tell you, don't be surprised. Don't be
When
surprised.
Michigan State beats Mississippi State, don't be surprised. Yeah. All right. Episode 9, banger. We're gonna have picks for some of these games throughout the round. Some might be on an episode, some might not. Updated leaderboard coming out today, the day this episode drops. Rough week for the boys. A lot of upsets, but we all tied in golf. All our golfers tied for second, so that ended up being a wash. But whatever.
It was just a rough week for you, pal. Just a rough week for you. Jack and I did plenty fun. Jack
y'all
and
did. Well,
That's
I
good.
have the updated
What a
score.
hockey night tonight, dude.
Hockey?
Wheeler's up 2-0 right now. I mean, there's just so many games that happened tonight. I was watching the Hurricanes game right before this. I thought that was a great game. Hurricanes ended up winning 4-1 though, but I don't know. It was a good game to watch.
Hey,
Hopefully we get more
hockey's
hockey
fun.
in. Yeah.
Hockey's fun. I'm big on hockey. Went to a Canadians versus Flames game. Great time. I'm high on hockey, but we'll see y'all on Saturday with some round of 32 action. Yep.
All right.
Peace
See ya.
out.
Jesus loves you all. Body Armor, please sponsor us. See y'all next time.